Do you remember when we all thought robots were going to take over the world? Well, 2001 Space Odyssey does. Let's take a look at it. All right, 2001 Space Odyssey is based on, obviously, the movie, and you're pretty much as a one versus all game where one person plays Hal, the rest of people play crew members, and you're trying to stop Hal from taking over, and Hal is trying to, well, be what Hal does. So, this game is designed by Phil Walker Hardy, so before we get to what I thought about it, let's see how it's played. Okay, we are set up for a game of 2001 Space Odyssey, the board game here. Now, this is a one versus all. I've got it all set up. Not everything is here on screen. I'm just trying to zoom in as much as I can. But pretty much one player is going to be Hal, which is this guy right here. There's a player screen. It goes here. I'm actually just going to show you. I've just got 3 cards behind it. But it goes here, and then you're going to have 3 cards up in front. We're going to get to that in a moment. But one person is Hal, and the rest are going to be crew members. Now, Hal has, at the start here, he has 6 cards. 3 are hidden back here behind, and then 3 are open information. The rest of crew members can see it. Everybody else is going to get 2 cards into their hand. Now, you notice right here, this is Hal's hand size. It can go down, and I'll show you how that happens in a little bit. First off, let me tell you how this game ends. The game ends, Hal wins if 3 of these systems here are terminated, or if life support right here is terminated. If that happens, Hal wins. Now, the crew wins after successfully playing 3 logic sequences at HAL 9000 core right there. And I'll go into how that happens in a moment. But those are the win conditions, and that's how long the game lasts. And here's the cadence of the game. It'll be Hal, a crew member, Hal, crew member, Hal, crew member, Hal, crew member. Keeps going back and forth, so Hal goes in between every crew member. Now, to start the game, Hal's going to take multiple turns in a row, and this is based on the number of crew members. Like if there's 4 crew members, which there are in this game, then he's going to take 2 turns. So it's pretty simple on Hal's turn. All he's going to do is he's going to play a card, and then he's going to draw a card. Let's go through what the cards mean. First off, you're going to notice all of these different locations here. Hal's trying to get these to crash, okay? He's trying to get these offline. In order to do that, I need to play 4 cards, gravity cards here, 4 over here at comms, 4 over here, or 7 over here. And what that means is I could take one of these cards and then just place it there. There we go. So I have got 1 card there, 3 more, and that shuts down. Another option is to play a closed door card, which would be 6 right here. So I would take one of these, place it here, and this door is then closed, and the crew members cannot pass back through this. Another card Hal can play is a target card. This one you get to choose a crew member and name a card, and if they have it in their hand, they have to discard it. So if you point to somebody and say, if you have a life card, you have to get rid of it. Or gravitational or whatever, and if they have it, they have to discard it. Then you've got scan right here. I actually happen to have one over here that's open information. Scan, you choose one crew member, and they choose 1 card in their hand, reveal it to everybody, and they get rid of it. And then there's one more card. I think I actually have one over here, and this is the lip read card. If this lip read is ever out here visible, this is pretty cool because then the crew members cannot communicate or pass cards back and forth. So if this is out here, that's really going to limit the way your crew members can actually interact with each other. All right, so that's what happens on Hal's turn. Now, then he also draws a card. So you're going to go ahead and get rid of one of these. You're going to draw it, and you always make sure that you're going to have 3 out here in front. Even if you only have 1 or 2 back here, you will always have 3 out here in front. So you're going to draw a card and replenish. Okay, now let's go to the crew member's turn. First off, the crew members can move 2 spaces, and that is unless this happens. Let's go into these different stations here for a moment. Once these go down, like say there are 4 cards here, this becomes not operational. So now we have changed crew members' hand size from 6 to 4, all right? And over here, if the gravity is ever down, it goes from 2 spaces. You're going to flip that to where crew members only move 1 space. And this will allow you to only draw 1 at a certain space, the pictophone, which we'll get to in a second. So right now you can draw 2 at the picture phone. But if it's terminated, you can draw 1. And that's if the 4 cards are ever out there. Now, 7 there, you're dead. So let's not worry about that. So again, you get to move 2 if the gravity system is operational. So that would be 1, 2, just like this. Or anywhere around the board. Of course, you cannot move through closed doors. Then you have actions you can take. You can take as many of these actions as you can. All right, so Pretty much the actions are these. You can only do each action once. You can give a card to someone in your space. If you think someone needs one, you can pass a card over. You can repair a system using repair cards of the matching type. For example, if I was over here at life supports right here, just like this, I would play this card. I play at the pod life, and I discard one malfunction card. So there's a card over here. I'd get rid of it, and that is how you repair. Then you've got the open door card. This right here, you can, if you go up against 6, if I close that out, you can be here and then discard this, and you open that door. And the cancel card, this is you play at the pod bay or the core up here, and that is going to discard one of these revealed HAL cards. For example, if the lip reading was up here, you could use this to get rid of the lip reading card. That way you can communicate again. You've got recover. This week you can look through the discard pile, which will be over here, and take one of the cards back into your hand. And then finally, you can disconnect HAL. And that is if you are ever up here at the HAL 9000 core, then you have to do a sequence of cards. So you have to do like a 2, 3, or 4, 5, 6, 7, any card in a run. It doesn't wrap around, so you have to do them straight in a run. For example, if I was here and I had these in my hand, I have 10, 11, 12. That is a sequence. I have now moved this down. That lowers HAL's hand size, but also gets me closer to winning, closer to getting those 3 sequences I need to go ahead and kill HAL, or to get him offline. And then the crew members at the end of their turn, they get to draw cards depending on the space they're on. If they're going to be here, they draw 1. If they're over here at the picture phone, they're going to draw 2, unless, of course, that's flipped, then you're going to draw 1. And certain ones over here do not allow you to, like the pod bay, certain ones don't allow you to draw cards. If they do, they will say it on there. One other thing I will mention is this is asymmetric as far as the players go. Everybody gets their different player here. Now, they do have all the different setup and everything you're going to do on there. But also on the back, everyone gets a different ability. For example, right here, Dr. Peter Whitehead. Let's see if I can focus in on that. There we go. Hal may not choose you when playing a scan card. You may use any repair card to remove one malfunction from any system. So they don't have to match where you are. Look through a couple other ones here. Dr. Dave Bowman. While taking actions, a crew member on your space may give you 1 card. And your life repair cards remove 2 malfunctions. So that's pretty good for him to stay right here and start making sure that never hits 7, because that's the only one that would actually just lose you the game by only 1 system going down. All right, so you keep playing until HAL gets 3 of these systems to crash or life support to go down, or the crew members are going to do this 3 times and get HAL deactivated. So that is it. That is not all the rules, but again, a quick overview about how to play 2001 Space Odyssey. Let's send it back and see what we thought about it. Okay, so it's a quick overview about how to play. Pretty much this is a pretty simple one versus all game, which I think is what they were trying to go with when they had this game. Again, Phil Harding, when he's done some fantastic, some of my favorite games. This one is more on the lighter side. This one seems to have kind of mass market appeal. It kind of feels like a Ravensburger style game where you can play with a family or play with a casual night of friends. So that's one thing that you have to know going in. This is on the lighter side. So pretty much when you come out with the rules and you read them and you're like, is that it? And you're like, yeah, I pretty much get it. And that's part of the charm of it, because it is very simple and procedural. You can only do certain things. You can so many cards you can do to shut down certain systems. It's pretty easy and it goes fairly quick. It gives you the feel of that theme. If you like the movie, if you have that nostalgia for the movie, people that don't know the movie may not like it as much. It'll still be fine, but it does kind of give you the feel, that old school feel of the movie. So if you like the movie, it's worth looking at for that reason alone. And also, I like the visual kind of game ends. I like a game that you can't wonder like when it's going to end, who's going to win. These are very visual win and loss conditions. You look, you see how far Hal's dropping, how close you are to beating him, and then also you see certain systems that are getting shut down, or you see life support going. Everything is very visual, and you can make that plan. Now, when you're the crew members, making that plan in front of Hal is rough, because you have to do that table talk. You can't be texting back and forth. You've got to have open table talk in front of Hal and try to plan out the stuff, meaning this robot is going to hear everything you're planning. That's very thematic. It really is. And then when that lip read comes out, I think you'll call it lip, whatever it is, the one that makes people though they can't talk. the whole thing with that is that adds another element, and you want to get rid of those cards that are face up soon. So that adds a nice element, a nice change in it. Again, those cards you see, I like the visual element of Hal's cards because you see he always has those cards in front. So be able to remove those so you see a portion of what could be coming your way. So what he chooses to put out there, you may want to get rid of. So that, I think, adds a very interesting element to it. I like that open hand. Now, there are some dislikes about this. I think at a higher player count, I found it kind of tilts towards Hal because it is hard. You get less turns as you go around. Hal's going in between each one. It's harder to communicate and get those numbers to each other to let those pop off. Also, it can be frustrating to new players because of that, because it kind of does slow down a bit when you're playing it. And it can also be random with your card draws because, again, you're trying to get that logic sequence to shut him down. So it can be frustrating at card draws, and then you're trying to get to somebody and you're trying to change cards. Then Hal's going to close those doors. You're going to open them. He might close another door. That can be a bit frustrating. Mix that with the communication. It's hard to communicate in front of Hal what you need. All that can be frustrating to new players. And I say that because this seems to be marketed to a mass market area or a mass market group. But gamers will be able to mitigate that, but then are gamers going to gravitate to it? There's so many questions with this, but I think the game does work. I think it's one for theme. If you love the movie, then you're going to love the game. It kind of gives you that feel. It gives you that in a lighter package, something that's very approachable to new gamers and experienced gamers, but again, it's very light. So I'm coming in at a 6 on this. If you like the movie 2001 Space Odyssey, I think check this out for a play or two. You may really enjoy it. It's a one versus all, and it's a very light one versus all. And that's not a very crowded field. There's not a lot of light one versus alls out there that can be played with a very simple rule set. So anyway, that is 2001, The Space Odyssey, the board game. Check it out, and make sure you beat Hal, because he's late, but he's still taking over the world. I guess it's 2031. I'll give him a couple years.
Hey folks, thanks for joining us for that video. If you haven't yet, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hey, make sure you check out what's happening, where I'll cover an app on an iOS or a Switch device, and you can check it out along with me. Thanks very much. You've been watching The Dice Tower.